Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're at episode 232. Today is June 8th. My name is Craig Prowse, and joining me is the Shinra soldier himself, Mandrew Montemayor.
Hey, bro. Right now is the best time. Games.
Yeah, anyone who's pretending that there's nothing to play, and again, we see this all the time with people going like, "Oh, bad year 20." I'd argue, Andrew, I'd argue, 2026 might go down as one of the best years in, let's call it a decade of video games.
I feel like we've had some like really good ones lately. It's been a while since we've had like maybe it's not like one where you have like oh well it's like fit like there's a brand new huge game every month, but there's been just absolute bangers.
I think the fact that it took something that didn't put Resident Evil 9 as your GO2Y and it replaced it with something else, we can talk about that whenever, however, says something a lot about the year, right? That something that's as good as your favorite franchise is that we're in a year of going through this game after game after game. I mean, I took a month off last month because I could show you my list and I was banging out games and I took a month off and I after a while you play a lot of games, you get fried a little bit, you want to break. And
Yeah,
I watched a bunch of shows. I caught up on The Boys. I read some book. I watched a bunch of shit. I took a month off. I beat maybe a game last year. I'm starting to get back into it, and I'm like, dude, I am like, you take a month off, you're behind, man. So I am falling behind on the game. So now is the best time to be a gamer. So I do want to point out because we like some of the behind the scenes drama is that this show, hopefully, if I can get it out and edited today, you guys will have it by the end of tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow morning that you see this or afternoon. But last night, Andrew and I tried to start a show, and again, this is still the workings, the in and out of us doing it remotely. Is our Andrew had something that had to pull him away from the recording, so we went to go try to hit pause, and we found out that the whole recording that we were doing wasn't even working. So we've had that happen in the past, where Andrew sat side by side with me, and we've lost an hour or two. Thankfully, I think we were about 15 minutes in, so I don't think we lost too much. So we decided to let's break down from yesterday and restart today. But I think we feel a little bit better about today, right? I mean,
yeah.
happy circumstances that we didn't lose an hour worth of our time. But that's just one of the things that happened. We both thought it was running, it wasn't, and I've seen other shows lose. Like the Brothers Take had one where they lost a whole bunch of recordings. So hopefully, we can get this cemented.
My wife was telling me she's like it's probably a sign and a good thing that you guys got interrupted because we would have made it through the whole thing and then it not even recorded, so we would have wasted like all that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, it would
So
have
I
been
was thinking about
terrible.
that afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? Like I was kind of mad about it at first. Then it's like, oh, you know what? Like yeah, at least we didn't waste all that time. Like I think we had once before we figured out some stuff when we used my phone, and I think I'd gotten like a call or something like that because I forgot to put on Do Not Disturb, and it just tanked the whole episode. Was gone. Like, and I think it was like an hour and a half one too.
Yeah, and that's always a bummer. But we did want to give another shout out because I did want to mention that your son Mateo's birthday was just the other day. He's a big boy. He's growing up. He's going to was it daycare now or something like that?
Yeah, today's his first day of daycare, so he's pretty much moving out, paying bills, and just
The new man.
I'll
Hey,
see
the
him
new
whenever
man
he
of the
has time
house.
for his old man.
Yeah, pretty soon you guys will be throwing pigskin around and all that. So, so apologies, guys, that we didn't have the episode out a little bit sooner. Hopefully it's out today. If not, it'll be out by tomorrow. So apologies for that, and we'll just keep the ball rolling. So with that being said, guys, if you're following us on or watching us on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. If you guys are interested in following us on any of our social media, make sure you hit the Linktree link, which is in our description. That can take you to our Instagram, our Facebook. I'm eventually going to put our Discord in there. I don't know why I haven't. If you guys are listening to the audio only version of this podcast, you can check us out on your podcast platform of choice. So, with that being said, guys, let's dive into it. And the topic generally of this episode is that it kind of feels like there's an E3 like resurgence. E3 once upon a time, for those that didn't know, was a big event that took place usually between early and mid June. That usually would take all the conferences and showcases of all the developers, of all the publishers, put them together and kind of over a week show all the good games coming out and everything that was moving forward. But slowly and unfortunately, that kind of went away and that kind of fell to the wayside. And since then, over the last X amount of years, the shows have kind of been solitary, right? They've been like, one might be here, one might be here, nothing really lined up. And as the planets aligned, so did this summer of events. And we did happen to finally get something that it resembles an E3 appearance, and that is that we just had Sony PlayStation State of Play, which was on June 2nd. We have the Summer Game Fest, which is hosted by Jeff Keighley, which is ran through June 5th till today, June 8th. We have the Xbox Showcase that was the other day on June 7th when Andrew and I originally recorded the episode. And I just saw that Nintendo Direct, I believe, is gearing up for a Treehouse Direct. I think it might be tomorrow. So that's the first time in a long time we've had a lot of these guys all line up to give us kind of just a week's worth of news. And as gamers, I love it. I mean, as content creators, you can't ask for anything more than that. So, Andrew, are you feeling anything that resembles E3 energy? Or do you kind of maybe wish that it is maybe more spread apart and this is maybe a lot on our plate? Or how did you like the week so far?
No, I do like that it feels like people are just stepping up their game, and it's actually a show. Because after E3 went away, it kind of felt like people were just kind of putting out like whatever, and not even just from like games, but content, even like presentation wise. A lot of them, there was a couple. I mean, we've talked about it before. If you go back to some of those, where it could have literally been like a blurb on a blog, and I was like, okay, like this doesn't feel the same anymore, and you're making like a big to do about this big thing, and now I've just sat here for like 40 minutes, and that's not being like, oh, every game is not for me. It's like, no, the general consensus was like, okay, what was the point of this?
Right, right. I feel you. I feel you. So,
So it's
guys,
good to feel like, hey, I'm thinking we're back.
hey, he's back, baby. So yeah, let's dive into it, guys. And again, we're gonna kind of keep it in the Andrew and Craig fashion, where we're going to talk about kind of what caught our eye. Because if you look at it in retrospect, it's about 60 to 80 games, and Andrew and I are gonna do our best to maybe cover 10 to 15. So we try to keep the show a little tight. So if we don't cover something that's a game that maybe caught your eye, definitely leave it down in the comments. We'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. But hey, as they say, the show must go on. So, as we do off the top before we jump into the main stories, I want to start with State of Play being the off the top because it was a week ago. So, I'm sure a lot of you have time to seen it and kind of go over what it had. It was, I think, about an hour long. It showed about 20 games, a bunch of different titles. There's maybe three things I kind of wanted to go over that were, in my mind, the biggest. If there's anything else you want to add, Andrew, feel free.
No,
But
I feel the same. I think we stand together on the three. It was a good showing, but the three we want
yeah,
to
yeah,
talk
it was a
about.
really good showing for the starting of the week, and for being the state of play and being something that Sony was doing, especially showing off a lot of exclusives at the end. Sorry, real quick, I don't think I put my stuff on Do Not Disturb. Hey, leave me alone. I'd argue these three things were all exclusives, at least for Sony. And the first one I want to point out was that Until Dawn 2, which, and now I'm reading a couple articles from IGN, so if you guys do want to see the full roster of what came out, you feel free, the articles are in the link, you guys can check them out. It says, who saw this one coming? Firesprite is making a sequel to Supermassive's Until Dawn, and it's going to be released in 2027. This one sees a group of ghost hunters visiting a tropical island, but it all looks to go wrong once a slasher killer-like figure turns up. Now, the only reason I kind of want to point this out is because I don't know if it's something that's maybe that Sony's holding on to is because I think they have something here because Until Dawn not only was a really good game when it first came out, but they've also remade it since then. And by remade it, I mean they've altered the ending, so it is not only like a fresh coat of paint and maybe some new mechanics. Like it's a different game if you play it from the original one. And then they made a movie about it, which did pretty good. So when you're looking at number two, right, and it's being a prequel, and it's set with a group of campers ish, and then they have a killer after them. I feel like this is something if they want to move forward with like a Friday the 13th type of scenario. This is a good IP to kind of do that and move forward with. And I forgot to get the guy's name last time we recorded it. I didn't get it today, but he is the DNA that's in the movie and the games, and both games. So it is connected on a level that brings them all together. So I don't know if you're a big fan of Until Dawn. I forget if you like the movie at all. But do you think PlayStation's holding on to something here, or is it just are they grasping at straws?
No, I like it. And I think it looks good, and it's like the perfect kind of idea. Like, okay, we're gonna do like it could be this and this scenario, and then Until Dawn 3, like you can have them loosely connected if you want to, but almost like horror anthology style. Each one takes place in like a different area with a different thing or a different horror trope or something like that, different time period. There's just so much you could do with it that especially with the way their games kind of play out that it just is perfect for something like that.
Yeah, because there are kind of some other I don't want to say copycats, and I forget if they made the other one. There was another game that was there was like campers or something like that. I forget the name of it, but like it is a good trope to old school throwbacks of like Jason and things like that, chasing the campers and things like that. So I really liked it, and I really liked the movie. So Until Dawn, like I said, nobody thought it was coming. I really liked it. It's here. So
I would say that was the biggest surprise for me was that it actually got a sequel.
yeah, and it looked pretty far along too. So because it like there was a whole big thing too, like when the girl's running to the end of the mountain,
Cliff,
and yeah, one of the things is like, oh, do you want to push the kid off or do you want to see the
yeah,
jump? And at the end, you see her jump, and that kid's landing straight on that rock. Because one of the coolest things is and when you play these games is like everyone can survive or no one can survive, and there's literally scenarios for it's like a goosebump choose your own adventure, right? There's a thing for
yeah.
every scenario. So I got Sam to play it a couple like last year I think, and she really enjoyed it, so I'm super excited about that. The next big thing, obviously, was Marvel's Wolverine. And this opened the show. So it says, opening the show was another good look at Marvel's Wolverine, as Insomniac showed us more Logan in action. Unapologetically violent and drenched in blood, it's set to be more linear action adventure when compared to the studio Spider-Man's games, as was showcased in this chunk of gameplay, which also featured the X-Men's Jean Grey. It's due out exclusively on PS5 on September 15th, 2026. And there's a whole big article if you want to dive into it. It's about 7 minutes long. Um, it looks really cool. Obviously, it's clearly they're going in a rated like a mature bloody
Yeah,
ness, and
which
obviously
they should.
I think 100%. I think the bigger thing that stands out is a lot of people thought, are they going to be copying Spider-Man's DNA and having this open world, or is it going to be linear? And I think to do a Wolverine game, linear is the answer to do.
Yeah,
Not so much that it's like what's Wolverine going to do, run around. I just think when it comes to like his type of missions, it just makes more sense to be mission based, focused moving forward. So there's a lot of people saying that maybe the superhero fatigue is kind of kicking in, even with video games. And I'd argue that yeah, maybe you've gotten the Arkham games and you've gotten Guardians of the Galaxy, but that really is only on the other systems. As far as PlayStation goes, if you've never played any of the Spider-Mans, correct? Because you have Spider-Man, you have Miles Morales, they're moving forward with Venom, and then after the Wolverine game, they're going into an X-Men trilogy. At least that's what they're proposed to do. Do you think maybe we are heading in a direction where there's just maybe too much Marvel superhero fatigue? Or do you think in general it's a little saturated?
it's it's hard to say Marvel, but that's all there really is. Like, what does DC have? You know, they haven't had anything since Batman or like Injustice, unless you're counting like
Well,
the Lego
again,
games or
remember
something.
the Wonder Woman game got canceled.
Yeah, and then that no one's seen anything from that Hydra game that's they showed off like slightly. So that thing I doubt will come out. I feel like that's another thing that's just going to get canceled if it hasn't already. I think it was even rumored that it was or something. I oh, actually, that's Marvel anyways, but that wouldn't matter regardless. So yeah, I just don't think DC's really they haven't had anything since Batman.
Well, do you think Insomniac's being pushed into a corner and that they're gonna just be doing too many Marvel superhero games? Like Wolverine's coming out and it looks really cool, but do we want to
Oh,
play a Venom game? Do we want to play 3 X-Men games moving forward? Like, should this be kind of like a one and done and let's move on?
it's hard to say because you'd really have to kind of like see from the studio because like is that like what they want to do is there are some studios that like yes this is it like this is all we want to do this is our what we're good at this is our niche we love staying kind of in this lane but then you kind of can get stuck and then all your stuff kind of like bleeds
Stuck.
together and it like you know what I mean like your
Yeah.
work just kind of bleeds together where you take like similar menus similar gameplay whatever so I at least I feel like for right and I think this will be the big determining one because Spider-Man to Wolverine is such a huge gap like stylistically tone gameplay wise
A little
that if
wiggle
it
room.
does come that if it does come out and it feels like okay this is maybe kind of like Spider-Man but just here's Wolverine or whatever this is going to be the game that will really like determine like okay is it consumer fatigue or is it like you guys are maybe you're having a rut here and we need to do something to shake it out.
Hey, I feel you. I feel you. And then, of course, the biggest thing on PlayStation's docket that they had was the new God of War Laufey, and that was the biggest reveal of the state of play. Had to be the first look at Santa Monica Studios God of War Laufey. This extended 20-minute gameplay sequence gave our first look at Faye, Kratos' wife, in action as she seemingly makes her way to the afterlife to face gods of different mythologies who aren't happy she's there. Deborah Ann Wool is reprising her role as Faye, and you can check out. They have a link to show other things. This one I think has to be mentioned simply for the fact that it's coming from two camps. One is there's going to be a lot of people that are backlashing because they're like, hey, the next God of War, who the fuck wants to play Faye? On the
Yeah.
other hand, it's going, oh well, maybe it is a good idea to do a side spinoff so we can move forward in different in different godlike pantheons. Because one of the things that they're doing is they're setting up different, because what's kind of known for, right? First one was Greek, the next one was Norse. This one is moving forward in a few different directions. It says the setting expands beyond Norse and Greek mythologies into an unstable cross pantheon afterlife realm known as Everywhen, because characters cannot truly die here. Lao Fei encounters a variety of divine beings from different cultures. So one is going to be the Egyptian gods, the ferocious lioness-headed Egyptian deity Sekhmet.
I think it's Sekbet with a B. I think it's
Sekhmet
either or Sekmet, Sekbet.
is a primary antagonist, known as the goddess of war, healing, and divine punishment. She brings brutal destruction to the narrative. Tibetan and Mongolian gods, God of War Lao Fei introduces Bexti, a prominent flame engulfed war deity from Central Asian and Tibetan Buddhist mythology. So when you watch this trailer, and again, I think the 20 minutes was way too long. I don't think they needed to show it because I think it did more hurt than help. I think if they would have
Yeah.
concentrated on a solid like 7 minute trailer, like maybe like Wolverine, show it off the new gods and showing what she can do would have been better. But how did you like looking at a new God of War, focusing on his wife in the afterlife? But at least you get to see some new gods because I know you're not a big fan of the Norse mythology.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Norse, and I've been kind of out on God of War, and this was just even less. I'm like, okay, someone I definitely don't care about at all now, just doing whatever. The best part of it is seeing the other gods. I'm like, okay, at least this is cool. It's not ideally the person dealing with them that I want to see, because I'm just like, I don't really get. Again, this is gonna be one of those games that's gonna have to come out, and you're gonna have to play it and see, because like I just don't understand. Like, okay, like was she that? I don't think she was that important or integral to anything else. It's like, okay, you deserve your own game. This is the side character you went off with. You and your magical Marvel jelly cube.
Yeah, because that was we do have to point that out. There, she does have a few new things that are separate from Kratos' adventure. One is, and I really like, is they're bringing back the jump mechanic, which is something you saw from the old Greek parts of games where Kratos is actually able to jump, dodge, roll. So they're bringing back that, and the Kratos we're talking about how that's going to lean into a more diverse combat system. But she also has an ability which is soul detachment, which is able to punch through people, send their souls out, and do damage to it. So I'm assuming that's going to be a big part of what the key focuses on the game. But she also has two companions, which is Rue the Ribbon and the gelatinous cube Frank, which is voiced by Jack Quaid from The Boys. And to me, I thought that was kind of the more gimmicky part. And I thought, I don't want to say it's not necessary. Obviously, they're going to serve a purpose. But to me, I'm like, what is this? So I can see if you're going to spend 20 minutes on showing this new game that people are already going to be kind of upset about that it's not Kratos. What they showed, I don't know, was all worth showing. But that's
I
me.
do want to say at least the combat looks good, but yeah, like I see a lot of people, and I was kind of thinking too. I'm like, it just seems like Marvel territory, like trying to be funny. Like you have all these
Trying to
gods
be
with these
funny.
crazy names, and then like you have this cube that's just named Frank. Like you could have named him something else or whatever. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I'll say the combat I think at least looks good.
Yeah, it's probably his name, probably Frankfurt.
Oh, well, that see that would be a
Oh.
lot cooler. It's even if he just was like, oh, my name's like I don't know,
What if it
like
was just Frankenstein?
Frank, and that's what I was saying. My name's Frankenstein, but I prefer Frank. I could live. I could live and die by that. That would have been fine.
I will allow it. So, anything else on the state of play?
No, if you didn't watch it, I think you should. It was good.
I think you should watch. Oh yeah, all of it. Plenty of time to catch up on it. So moving forward after that, that is the state of play, guys. If we skip the game, lots of good stuff. You had Onimusha, you had Crazy Taxi, and all that stuff kind of showing up. Let us know. Right, Crazy Taxi, was that the state of play or is that an
That was
Xbox?
Xbox.
Okay, we'll move forward then. So let's move forward to the Xbox, and that was posted the other day. That was about 20 games. Um, 20 to 20 to 26 games, but I counted about 20 that were focused on Game Pass, which if you're watching that showcase, man, they showered that thing with love for Game Pass.
Yeah.
So before we dive into it, Andrew, if Xbox is your main console, I mean, I think they took care of their fan base, no?
Yeah, no, this is actually they had a really good showing too. There's like a lot of stuff there. There's certain games like that I've never been like a fan of that I'm like, okay, like this looks really cool. I think I'm gonna jump in, regardless of whether it had been free on Game Pass or not. That's an even bigger like incentive for me to be like, okay, well then why won't I try it? You know?
Yeah, no, 100%. So let's move forward with this. And they started off with a banger, and that was Gears of War E Day. And it says Xbox Game Showcase kicked off with their new trailer for Gears of War E Day, showing a young Marcus Phoenix in civilian clothing fighting through the streets against a surprise locust attack. And we have a release date, October 6th, 2026. The big news here, though, is Gears of War E Day is Xbox console exclusive, which means there's no PS5 version. That's a massive call from the new Xbox CEO, Asha Sharma, right there. That was a big call, and I think to start off the Xbox showcase, I think that was the right move. Better to do it now than end it, because I think that set the tone. Because you could have dropped this at the
Yeah.
end. I think it was a good tone set, and I think that's what a lot of Xbox players wanted to hear. Again, though, the whole showcase wasn't a lot of exclusives because that genie's kind of out of the bottle, right? I mean, they are a publisher as well as they are a console, so a lot of this stuff has to be on it. But to bring back Gears of War and make it something that's back home in Xbox, as someone who's agnostic and plays everything, I thought it was a good move. How did you look at it?
Yeah, I mean, how else are you going to sell a console? You have new consoles that you want to come out. You have other stuff you're trying to sell. Like, how do you sell hardware without an exclusive when you can just get everything anywhere else? And I mean, that was a statement that she came out and said before. I'm like, okay, like I'm going to, or this is what we need to get back to. Is we need to get back to our roots, and part of our roots is having stuff that's exclusive. And I think it's like known too that this was already supposed to be coming to PS5. That was a rumor. And even since then, there's already been like a leaked trailer that got taken down, I think, off like the Xbox YouTube that had the whole Gears whatever, but it had the ending little coming to whatever console had PS5 like listed on there. And rumors that like it's because there's just a done finished version of it just sitting there waiting. So I
Yeah,
think at the very least, even if they weren't going to do full whatever, you have to do something to promote some sort of incentive for your ecosystem.
right. So with that being said, though, I mean, how did the game look, man? Because there's some debate of going, should they move forward and giving us, the next Gears moving forward with the actual storyline? Was a prequel the right move? Clearly, now that's the direction they went, was the prequel. And I've got to say, looking at it, it looked fantastic. I mean, I'm not sure if I love the fact that they went backwards, but when the game was when the franchise was starting to kind of teeter off, because even when they did the remake of one and put it on PS5, no one really bought it. And to be honest with you, I think the numbers showed that Xbox was actually the least amount of people that went to go get it. So to bring back the old school crew in a new game, I think was a strong move. And but by no other means, the game looked fantastic. All right, guys. Sorry if there's a slight little break there. The babykins came home and Andrew had to take care of work. So I think where I was ending it, Andrew was asking that. Gears of War. I mean, obviously, even it moved from off of PlayStation 5, the franchise itself needed to kind of rebuild its loyalty because even people when they redid number one, it wasn't getting bought a lot. So the exclusives coming here, but that aside, right? That aside, how did the game like look overall? Because I think getting the game back together and all the deaths we got to see and the way all the combat looked, I thought. I mean, there's nothing to look at and go, I don't want to play that.
No, I thought it looked really good. I'm actually like not like a huge Gears of War fan. I just don't think that I've ever really been. And I was like, oh man, this is like the first time I'm like, dude, this actually looks like really good. I want to get in there. I want to play it. I do like some of the movement changes they made too, like to make it like a little more fluid, like going under stuff or like some of the sliding and stuff. I'm like, okay, like this just looks good. Like it looks fun. And usually my favorite part of like a lot of things too, like even Resident Evil, like my favorite part isn't some of the later stuff or whatever. It's like finding out the downfall of an area. So being able to play through, E Day, Emergence Day, or whatever, that's like way sick.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. So looking forward to that. And that again will be a Game Pass day one day. So moving into the next big thing they followed it with was Halo campaign Evolved trailer teased the new story content coming to the game. 3 new missions set 1 year before the events of Halo Combat Evolved are included, complete with space combat. The release is confirmed July 28, 2026, which is right around the corner. And I just wanted to read this, which kind of dove in a little bit further. It says, before the events of Halo Combat Evolved, the Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson take part in Operation Meteorite, in which they infiltrate a mysterious Covenant ship on the Clydesdale assignment. Experience their fight behind enemy lines in the form of 3 all-new bonus missions included in Halo Campaign Evolve. Man, this game looked clean. It looked fantastic. I think number one's needed a remake for a long time, and there's been versions of it that have been kind of cleaned up, but as a full remake, adding on new missions, it looked fantastic. Now, I was gonna ask if obviously when you play the game, you can play it as 2 Master Chiefs, right? If player 2 kicks on, they make it look like Johnson is right, Sergeant Johnson. Like they make it look
Yeah.
like he's the second player. Is that how you kind of took it away, or like
I
are you playing side by side with him, or you think, or are you still gonna be playing 2 Chiefs?
I feel like that's just like kind of cutscene material, but I don't know.
Because
They
he's
could. I
hilarious.
mean,
That whole trailer was fantastic.
I think that'd be cool. I don't see why not, but I'm not one of those people who's going to nitpick and be like, oh, why does a soldier have overshields versus being the same as a Spartan or blah blah blah
Oh,
blah.
gotcha.
But I
Yeah,
could see people like nitpicking that. But it looks good though.
I thought it looked fantastic. Did you see that Needler rifle that they had,
Yeah.
dude? What is that about?
Yeah, this is the game that definitely needed the most. Like playing one, not that one's bad, but like going back and playing it, like even when I went through when they had it on the Master Chief Collection, I'm like, dude, some of these areas, like I am getting absolutely lost. I have no clue where I'm going. I have like no sort of marker. Like some of the maps are just insanely dark to where you can't see anything, and some of the areas look the same. I'm like, dude, I'm just going in circles, and I just cannot find my way out.
Yeah, so it looks like it's finally going to be doing really well. And again, it's a Game Pass game, so it's not something I guess we're gonna have to buy. But anybody on PlayStation is looking forward to it or can jump into that as well. Anything else on
I'll say
Halo?
quick. I'll say quick little thing, yeah, that it is coming to PlayStation, and so they did say, anything we've already announced for PlayStation and multi-plat and other stuff is going to stay that way, and everything else we'll just see going forward. So that was kind of the big mixture to see in here. It's like, okay, at least they didn't do like they could have just been like, no, we're just going to take everything away. It's like, no, anything we had announced, we're going to work on whatever, and everything else we'll just keep to our word. I'm like, okay, cool. Like at least it's a place to start.
Yeah, definitely. So, one of the next games that I wanted to point out, at least that caught my and Andrew's eye, was Residence: A Plague Tale Legacy. Xbox Game Showcase brought us a new trailer for Asobo Studios' Residence: A Plague Tale Legacy. It's due out August 27th across PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. And yes, it's coming day one to the Game Pass. Now, I was curious because it is connected to a Plague Tale, and which is a completely different style of game. And I was kind of looking at it to see how connected it is, and I found this. It says Residents of Plague Tale Legacy centers on Sophia, operating in a timeline set exactly 15 years before the events of a Plague Tale Requiem. The game uniquely shifts between 2 eras, the 14th century Middle Ages and the much older ancient Minoan era on the mythical Minotaur's Island. So as much as I liked Plague Tale, and it had a very unique style of gameplay with you being the sister and you're kind of sneaking your way, getting through things. The storyline was a little more elaborate, involving this plague. The game it pivots now into Residence. I'm not sure if it's. I mean, I like it. It looks fun. I know you end up playing Plague Tale later. Denny was a fan of it. I'm sure I'll like Resonance. Is this the right pivot for this game to broaden its horizons, or do you think it should have stuck with its unique formula that everyone seemed to like the first 2 games?
I don't know. I think it's hard to say because, especially too, we'll have to see more. Like it is different, but I personally liked the way the first two
Yeah,
were.
so did
So,
I. So
like,
did I.
do I like it for the gameplay or the style, the story, just like how it feels? Like, I do like all that, but can that be translated into something like this? Is more like action based. Like, is it going to feel the same? And it's funny because I know he's going to hate it, but it's like you get. I hate Senua. And like, all right, there we're gonna stick to our roots and we're gonna do
Yeah,
whatever.
we'll talk about Senua in a second.
No, we'll just skip over that. I'm like, we're gonna skip to our roots and do whatever, versus something like this that should have stuck to its roots that I would have enjoyed more, versus the other game doing something different that I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck off.
Well, I guess I do like the fact that it's at least recognizing that it's because it's one thing to call it a Plague Tale 3. It's another thing to be like, hey, blah 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 in this world. So I do kind of like the pivot, at least in terms of going, hey, we recognize it, but this really isn't number three. It's just we're recognizing that it's in the same world. So I do kind of appreciate that, I guess.
I'll say I think they could go back in, or no, well, not go back, but I mean, going forward, you could have like two branches depending on how this one does, the same way like Yakuza does now, because you have uh, like a dragon, and then you have like the separate branch. So that way,
Right, right, right.
the little side spin-offs now are the action-oriented ones. The like a dragon is like the JRPG
Yeah, I
now.
just don't know
So
if this was the I just don't know if this was the game you should have been doing that with. So we'll
we'll
see.
see.
But we will talk quickly about Senua. I know you hate it, but Ninja Theory is back with another Hellblade game, except this one is simply called Senua. From the gameplay reveal, it looks like there's going to be. Oh, it went away. It looks like there's going to gameplay reveal. It looks like there's more going on in terms of combat, and it's due out in 2027. Sorry, my screen went away. I was surprised that they're even coming out with one so soon. And I'm also surprised they continued going on with it because there's a lot of people that thought this was a big black eye for Ninja Theory. I'm in the camp that the game was fine. It's fine. But when the majority of people thought one and two are just kind of these walking sim games that are beautiful to look at, and if you play them with your headset on, probably the best in the business to be engrossed in. But really, what was the gameplay? And there's two camps. There's one player that says you didn't need it. It's an experiment, or an experiential kind of walking sim. Another, like you and I, are going, okay, well, where's the combat? To reinvent itself by just calling itself Senua, right? Because I was telling Sam, I'm like, oh, it's Hellblade. And at the end, it's just called Senua. I'm like, okay, well, what are we doing here? This is almost like Xbox branding. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, what game, which number? Senua, should almost be number one. So what are you calling yourself? So I know you don't really care for the fact, but were you surprised that there's a new one this soon? And do you think they should have even wasted their time?
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, they're the kings of wasting time. You may take 9 years to make a game, or all you're doing is walking. I just don't care for it. I'll still give it a chance. I don't care for the other two, and I'm not against games where you're, not
Right, but
doing
I think
anything.
I
It doesn't
think
have
I
to
think
be.
what Hellblade did was it misled us into thinking it was an action adventure, and I mean, it was just this walking sim kind of game. And that's not what I think we both thought it was going to be.
Maybe I just hate it because it's also Norse, like too. So like maybe that's what it is.
I thought you were
But
going to say
like
because it was a
I can
woman
appreciate
protagonist.
something that is maybe a little more. What is that? I can't remember the name of it right now that I'm thinking of it. The Team Bloober game, the horror one where you go
Oh,
in between dimensions.
fuck! I can see it in my head. You beat it. Damn it! I know exactly what you're talking about.
Either way, that one, even though it was like horror, that one was, you could call that one a walking sim with like some puzzles and stuff like that because you're the medium.
The medium. There you go.
Yeah, so like that one's not like action, and it's not like your typical horror game either. You're not fighting anything. You're kind of just doing puzzles, or maybe going from like piece to piece and stuff like that, and that's totally fine because I was just interested in that. Like hers, it just doesn't grip me. Like I'm not gonna talk bad about people who do like it, but like I'll shit on that game. I have no problem shitting on that game.
Right, each their own. The other thing I want to bring up, and again, guys, we aren't going to cover everything, so just keep that in mind and make sure you leave down in the comments below what your favorite games were. But I did want to bring up the Xbox Series X25 limited edition that they showed off. It said Microsoft went hard on nostalgia with the reveal of the Xbox Series X25, which leans heavily on the original Xbox console. It's due out in November 2026. That means for the first time, Microsoft is bringing a translucent design to the Xbox Series X, drawing inspiration from the original Xbox and OG green. So many fans remember. There's an Xbox wireless controller, edition 2, yada yada. So, I was really happy with it. My biggest kind
Sick.
of downfall was when when PS5 comes out with their next one, they made the Pro. When Switch kind of did something else, they did the OLED. If this, and I didn't see anything else that says it's any different, if this is just a Series X with a
I think it is.
new coat of paint, I think it's a missed opportunity because there's no reason to buy it outside of nostalgia. If you would have given this thing a little bump up in its hard drive or anything, right? Because I already have two Xboxes, and I was telling Collins, I'm like, dude, I want it. But I mean, outside of me wanting a green translucent Xbox, like, what's the upkick? You know what I mean? Like, we're this far in the series, right? We're this far into the lifespan of the Xbox. You couldn't give it any bump to sell it more than just making it green. Not that I'm hating on it. because I want to get one. I just think that's a missed opportunity. Do you feel the same way, or is this fine?
No, I think that it is too because and for a different reason. One, I'll just start though saying like the trailer was sick. Playing that retro trailer where
Oh
like it
yeah, that
had
thing was
like the old
awesome.
commercial and stuff, way sick. Console looks absolutely sick. My big problems are one, it's at the end of a generation cycle. Pretty much, we already know that like
That's what
something
I'm
else
saying.
is
You're not
coming.
gonna give me
So
the
like
2.5.
yeah, so like why am I gonna get this when I know something else is coming either next year or the year after that? Either way, it's just too late in the cycle that I think this should have been what so whatever the next Xbox is, this should have been a launch variation of that with this color scheme or something like that. They could have just showed off. I think that would have actually been really cool to show off the new console just the way it looks. No price, no nothing. Like, hey, we have this coming, and then kick it into the 25 years. This will also be like a launch thing or something like that. We'll talk more about it later. Would have been way sick.
I
But
think
two,
so too. Yeah.
with the price jump of everything that it's been, why am I going to pay more just for this skin? Because, like, I even going to like Walmart last night, like a Series S was like $400.
Ugh.
So if this is still going to be $700-800 for a 6-7 year old console, like for
Yeah.
nostalgia, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm going to get one still, but I had to look at it and go, what's the upkick? So, moving into a game that I know you wanted to talk about for a minute, Castlevania Belmont's Curse has a new trailer and a release date of October 15th, 2026, which I think is perfect timing for a game like
Yes.
Castlevania. We're definitely going to play it. I know you wanted to talk about it for a second. Say what you need to do.
I just want to say, I think it's perfect timing. See more gameplay. It's really good. I did kind of um, again, I'm just really liking the design. I see some people saying
I
it's
think
a
it
little
looks
too far
fantastic.
out, or like it's this does it better, that does it better. I'm so excited to see Konami back doing some stuff. We got Metal Gear. This is gonna be the first Castlevania. I'm really really excited for it. And again, I know before it wasn't confirmed, but it just looked like is this a girl? Are we not playing a girl? Is it just a guy with long hair? Because there's lots of guys with long hair because they didn't talk. So she's talking in this. Her name is Rose Belmont, and she is the daughter of Trevor and Sypha. So I don't know if
That's
this is
cool.
like retconning Castlevania stuff or like trying to like fit other stuff into there. But either way, I'm super on board for this game.
Nice. And then the next one I know you want to talk about was it Vivarium?
It's like
Serenity
Vivarium. I'm not
Vivarium.
sure how to pronounce it
Yeah,
either.
so I'll read this.
But
So hold on, let me read this for it just to kind of set it up. Serenity Forge revealed the trailer for Vivarium, the life sim adventure from Studio Meadow Flower. This hand illustrated world is inspired by timeless anime classics. The official blurb was Step into the summer that never ends as Jenny, a bright and energetic resident of a tiny terrarium town. Vivarium syncs to your real world, that was cool, your real world calendar to bring daily narrative events and quests throughout its emotional campaign. Spend days completing quests for peculiar neighbors, overcoming environmental puzzles, and tending to your garden and home.
I don't know that I care about the other stuff really, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I love when people do things different. I feel like one of the last ones we really gave like flowers to was like Cuphead. This having that like Studio Ghibli or like 90s anime aesthetic is so beautiful. It's so nice. Like this looks really good aesthetically. Gameplay wise, I'm still gonna play it, and I'm not even into live sim stuff, but I'm super stoked for this because I think it's just such a good looking, gorgeous game.
Yeah, I think it looks so too. So I think that's as much as we want to talk about on the Xbox showcase. And again, guys, there's 20 more games to talk about. So let's. The last one I did want to talk about though, because I thought it was unique, was Magicians: The Devil's Deal, which is a narrative-driven FPS where stage magic becomes real. You play as Jacob Menturo, a fallen illusionist bound by a pact with the devil and cast into hell, master deadly tricks, steal the powers of rival magicians, and escape the infernal world of Theaterland. I just thought it looked really unique. I love the fact that he's pulling out like a wand. He's doing these tricks. I love that the devil's going like, now hurry, hey, now run. And he starts running down the thing. I thought it looked unique. Nothing, I mean, nothing brand new, but I just thought the aesthetic that it brought looked very unique. So that was kind of the last game I wanted to bring up. You saw? Did you get a kick out of it?
No, not really. I maybe I just hate everything, and I'm just like getting old and just old person that hates everything. But I don't really like care for like magician magic stuff. I don't know. I just find it kind of like
What does
boring or
that
whatever.
mean?
So I don't know. It's in a just like classic magician style, whatever. I don't know. It just really didn't do it
you
for
like
me.
you like
But
playing Pinocchio, but you don't like magicians.
Yeah, but that's like steampunk Pinocchio, where like I'm killing gods. Like this is
Hey, that's
a
fair.
guy pulling a rabbit out of his hat and throwing it at somebody.
Jeez, that's a very simplistic way of analyzing it. But so that's what I have for the Xbox showcase. Again, guys, leave down your thoughts of anything we missed. Let's move into the Summer Game Fest. Andrew and I have a couple games picked out, and we'll end it off with the big banger. My first one was a game called Blood Message. NetEase brought Blood Message to the Game Fest. Check out the debut trailer. Let's see. It's a narrative-driven linear action adventure currently in development for PC and consoles. Set in the late Tang Dynasty in 848 AD, players take on the role of a nameless messenger who embarks on a perilous eastward journey to deliver a message that holds the fate of his homeland. The game setting in the last years of the Tang Dynasty provides a cultural landmark of Chinese history that frames the story with customs, culture, and the rich history of the era. NetEase said, I liked it because it's got those Ghost of Tsushima, it's got that Assassin's Creed kind of DNA in it. I do like that we're kind of getting more of these bigger, bolder Chinese type games coming from Chinese studios. And even though it says that it is a linear story, when you watch the trailer, it starts off with the dad, I'm assuming the dad talking with his son, and then later on it goes from the son and it shows him get older, and it looks like almost, I don't want to say a revenge tale, but you know what I mean. But he looks hardened, he looks battled, and he looks ready. So for me, I'm like, I love Ghost of Tsushima. I like Ghost of Yote. I love all the Assassin's Creed. So if this is something that's in a vein like that, quick action adventure, I thought it looked fantastic for being a brand new IP. I can't. There's nothing more I can ask for.
Yeah, no, it looks good. I like seeing like more Eastern stuff that's like not just set in Japan. You know, I was saying that with like Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Like it is really cool to see these other people take like liberties with these different areas and like just kind of moving like the cultures around. Versus, I feel like before usually when we had lots of like, oh, this mythology, I felt like it was like Japan for the longest time.
Yeah, 100%. So, what was your first game that you had at a Summer Game Fest?
My first big one, and one of my biggest ones for me, is Alien Isolation 2. Now, I mean, it's just like a brief,
Beefcake.
a brief like little trailer that doesn't show anything crazy, but just the fact knowing that it's live. Alien Isolation is one of my favorite horror games of all time. It's so good. I talk about it all the time. I always gush about this game. If you like Alien and you haven't gone through and played it, go play it. It is just such a good game, and I'm super excited to see like Creative Assembly come back and do something with this, especially too because at the time when the first one came out, it did there wasn't one there wasn't really anything like it, but two like they really were like I could pop that game in today and it is just gorgeous. The lighting, everything about it is just so good. And then even later on, they updated some stuff to it, like adding like the VR support and everything like that. It is just such a good game. So out of all the things that get sequels that don't deserve one, this is one that deserved it. And I'm so excited.
Nice. I actually just got Sam to get it on Switch too, and she's gonna start playing it.
Good.
Nice.
I'm glad one of you guys will.
Yeah,
It's
well, hey,
so
now that
good.
number two's coming out, now I'll start playing number one. My second game, guys, was Star Wars Zero Company. As expected, Star Wars Zero Company saw its debut trailer. This XCOM style Star Wars game is a turn based strategy affair. The trailer confirmed at the very end Anakin Skywalker is in the game, and it's due out August 27th. You're able to get your pre orders now. I was curious of when the timeline was actually going to be, and it says that it takes place in 20 BBY, roughly halfway through the Clone Wars. When nearly the entire galaxy is engulfed in the conflict, the Galactic Republic and the Separatist droids, about 1 year before the rise of the Galactic Empire. So, if we're looking at a world of if Anakin is going to be a Jedi, then we'd be looking at Count Darth Tyrannus would still be there with the Emperor, and or better known as Count Dooku. So I'm a big fan of tactics games. I know Andrew's kind of getting his feet wet for the first time doing like Final Fantasy, but this is more instead of an old school pixel square by square game. This is if you've ever played a game like Gears Tactics, this is kind of more open battlefield where everyone looks kind of more realistic. And I love. And Gino mentioned this a while ago. He goes, when we asked what kind of games would we like to see Star Wars make, he said a tactics game. This is that tactics game that you've been looking for. It looks good. I mean, Andrew and I die on a hill for this every time. I wish they moved out of the Clone Wars. To see Anakin for me was kind of like, we're still in this time frame. However, the game looks to be more rebel focus, storm, like class focus, and instead of being Jedi fighting anybody, you're going to be more smuggler, you're going to be more bounty hunter and things like that. It says that their faction kind of takes a little bit from everything. So, and the storyline looked all fully CGI'd. So it looks like there's going to be a really fun, interesting storyline there. And then the combat to me looked really fun. So hands down, Star Wars Zero Company is going to be a game I'm looking forward to. What about
Yeah,
you,
that one looked
Andrew?
really good too.
What was your
Uh,
next game?
my next big one is one of the biggest ones, and that's Resident Evil
Yeah,
Veronica.
and I think they opened up pretty close to the beginning of the show with it. So yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
one.
it's been rumored for a while. I'm just really glad to see it. You can already tell too that it looks like they're already making changes because the way the trailer starts, if you haven't seen, is like Claire's looking for a brother. She's supposed to be in Europe, and or that's where Chris is supposed to be because they're checking out like Umbrella headquarters. In the original one, she's like breaking into an Umbrella facility, and then she gets captured while she's breaking in there, and that's how she ends up on the island. This one, she's like in wherever hotel or whatever it is that her brother's like sitting in hostel, wherever the hell he is, and there's someone there who kind of looks like it might be like Hunk. Either way, it just looks good. I'm just super
Oh, that's a good
excited.
observation. If that's Honk, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I'm always super excited. They've been on fire with Resident Evil lately,
Hands
and this
down.
is more one of those ones like this in Zero. Out of all of the Resident Evils, like I think this and Zero personally like needed the remakes the most, but especially this one because there's a lot of ways you can soft lock yourself, especially like not having enough ammo or just anything. So this is like one of those ones that either way, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and Veronica's never been like top of my list. I always liked it. I don't love it. Now I know that after this comes out, this is gonna be probably be one of those ones that it's like okay, cool. Like now you might even be my second favorite.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts to see what Capcom does once they run out of remake IP for Resident Evil, but
Yeah.
they're on a good roll. So excellent choice. Obviously, it's the top tier. My third one is Stellar
Oh, actually,
Blade.
I was gonna
Oh,
say
what's
too.
up? What's up?
I was gonna say I think too. They said it was it spring 2027 or is that something else? No, that's Final Fantasy. I'm getting that mixed up with.
Yeah.
This is a 2027 game though. They
Let
did say
me
that.
double check it. Resident Evil is due out in 2027. Yes.
Yeah, it is 2027. Fusing
Yep.
it with something else though. That it's not spring, but 2027. Either way, the hits keep on coming.
The hits keep on coming. So my next one is Stellar Blade, Blood Rain. It says we knew Stellar Blade 2 was on the way, but we were not expecting a debut trailer. Shift Up sequel subtitled Blood Rain continues the events beyond the story of the first game and features a new protagonist. Now, I loved this series, at least the first game, which was a second party game at the time. It was only on PlayStation. This new one, so when I looked it up, they're publishing it themselves if I'm not mistaken, and so far day one I believe they're launching it on PC and PS5. I looked up to make there's nothing stopping them from putting on an Xbox, but as of right now there's nothing confirming that they're putting on an Xbox, but I don't see why they wouldn't, because the first Stellar Blade was an action RPG developer from Shift Up, and it was a major commercial hit, cementing itself as one of the most successful new intellectual properties in recent gaming history. The first one, the game sold over 1 million copies on Steam in just 3 days, becoming the fastest selling PlayStation published IP launch on PC. So it's a no brainer that they're going to move on to the next one. Now, I don't know if you would call this a Stellar Blade 2, because when you have these kind of these titles like Blood Rain, that it's almost like Control. It's like, is it a number 2 or a 3, or is it
Yeah.
not? But the trailer looked fantastic. The combat looked fantastic. I believe her name was Evie. She looked fantastic. Hey, there was a scene, and she did it for the Gooners out there, when she drops that cloak and those cheeks just do that nice little sway. But that aside, I mean, if you ever played number 1, it's got a very interesting story and a very unique combat system. And when you're fighting all these different types of creatures, it's very fun. So it's unfortunate that a lot of people weren't able to play it, but fortunately enough that Stellar Blade Blood Rain, I'm hoping it stands alone as a standalone game that you don't really need number 1. But you should play it if you get a chance. This game looked fantastic, and if it wasn't for the number 1 game we're going to talk about, I think this was, for me, what stole the show.
I thought it looked really good too. That and it kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't not that they wouldn't do a sequel, but I'm just like, oh, it's just one of those things maybe I just wasn't expecting. My other last big one is going to be Monster Hunter Ascendance. Now, I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan, and
Biggest I
will
know.
and I gush about it all the time. And their DLC has always been so good, especially since like Monster Hunter Worlds, even with the Rise one, Sunbreak, but like Worlds specifically, like having Monster Hunter Iceborne was pretty much almost like a whole new game. You take some of the monsters, you make them, ship to what shape to whatever acclimate that you're going with, and then you have other, all kinds of brand new ones. You bring in better mechanics, and I feel like Wilds didn't really do it for me. Like I remember talking about it at the time, it would have been higher on like my game of the year list, but it was just too easy. Like I didn't find it, and that's not the way I would describe like, oh, okay, well, Dark Souls 3 is easy because I know how, because I played Dark Souls 1 and 2. Like, no, I didn't really have to do any sort of like adjustments. Like, I was able just to like walk the game myself. I didn't have to swap out armors. And that was one of the better things that I always liked about it. It's like you cannot just go through, like, there is supposed to be some sort of prep work. Like, if this dude's kicking my ass and he's a lightning boss, okay,
I'm
I
kicking
need
my
to go
ass.
kill. I need to go kill this like rock style guy because the rock is going to help me negate the lightning and then change my blade. I didn't have to do like any of that, so I felt like I really just like walked that last game. But I hope this will fix like a lot of those issues and maybe like bring that feeling back. But another reason I wanted to gush about it is Capcom is just like on an insane generational run right now. So
One of
between
hey,
this year
hold on,
and
I'd argue one of a kind run, man. Like no one else touches the amount that I don't want to say Capcom is revolutionizing or waking people up, but this is a run that is unparalleled.
especially too coming from being the absolute lowest point they've ever been with like how Resident Evil was and the rest of their output. Like they went from just being trash company to like top
Top tier,
absolute
yeah,
tier. But I don't know what they're doing over there because they had Monster Hunter Wilds, you have Resident Evil 9, Monster Hunter Ascendance now, Resident Evil. Oh, I said Resident Evil 9 this year. You have Pragmata, um,
Onimusha,
Onimusha, and then I Monster Hunter Ascendance, the DLC
yeah,
on top of all that. Like, just where are you finding the time with these teams just to get all this stuff out? And the worst thing I could say about any of these games that I played is like, it was good to great. I don't know that I like loved it.
right,
And
dude.
that's if that's the worst thing you could say about something, then that's insane.
Yeah, of everything that came out within a 2 year span, right?
Yeah. But 2 years leading into next year now, so going on a 3 year span, there's
Yeah.
insane generational run.
Excellent. So, with that being said, guys, the final one that we both had to kind of agree on that had to be talked about was the reveal of Final Fantasy VII Revelation. Summer Game Fest closed out with a bang. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 is official and has a debut trailer. The game itself is called Final Fantasy VII Revelation. Director Naoki Hamaguchi took to the stage to say Revelation is launching simultaneously on all platforms, confirming a release on Xbox Series X and S and Nintendo Switch too, day one alongside PC and PS5. The voice of Vincent Valentine, Matt Mercer, also appeared to introduce the new gameplay. It's out spring of 2027, and here's a quick thing of what he had to say. In its cinematic conclusion, Cloud Strife and his loyal companions face a world that teeters on the brink of annihilation. Grieving a beloved ally and with their nemesis Sephiroth nearing godhood, the party takes to the skies aboard the airship Highwind in a race against time to stop Meteor, the ultimate destructive magic and the total obliteration of the planet. With Death's gunslinger Vincent Valentine and cantankerous pilot Sid Highwind aboard, the heroic team will journey freely across the entire planet and explore expansive new areas, harness a new job system in combat, and forge unbreakable bonds to overcome the greatest threat they've ever faced. Now, with that being said, it's insane to think that this started off and once upon a time had to scratch and had to restart. Number one launched in the remake started in 2020, and the final conclusion is going to come out in 2027. So with all the negativity you can say, because Square Enix does have some bad blood at the moment with how they've been handling things, the fact that they're able to put out arguably, you could say, one of the greatest trilogies of all time within 7 years, when it usually takes game to game a 7 year dev cycle, is amazing. And the fact that they finally kind of broke free of being, I don't want to say beholden to PlayStation time exclusives, but to be on all systems, and not only all systems, Switch 2 day and date is something
Yeah.
I think incredible. And so before we dive into anything more, I mean, I know I don't think we're gonna have time to get into what are you up to, Andrew, but I know you've been playing. You just caught up on 1 and 2. To see number 3. I mean, it's been a while since I beat 1 and 2. How are you looking at it? I mean, this thing looks fantastic, right?
Just in time,
Just in
baby.
time, brother.
Just in time. That's one of the things. Like, did I miss out at the time? Sure, but now I'm eating good and I'm beating these, and I'll be fresh and up to date right when this game drops.
How
So
far are
I'm
you?
super
How far are you
excited.
into the second one right now?
I just hit Costa del Sol.
Costa del Sol. Okay, perfect, man. So looking at this one, two things kind of point out. One, it looks like the whole journey freely across the entire planet. It showed that kind of you can dive because there's that the trailer that they had where Sid's like, yeah, jump out, do the parachute. It looks like
Yeah,
is it more that you can kind of send groups to do separate things, or does it just look like you don't have to you don't have to have Cloud as your main party member? Because there's definitely screenshots and video of them with 3 different characters running around. So is that something that
I think
entices
you can
you?
just switch whatever and have Cloud sit in the background.
Right, but I'm saying like if they're sending a party member, it looked like you could almost kind of break the party away, at least it kind of to me, and do kind of maybe 2 different things at once. Or did that not look like that to you?
I was like, maybe it could have been like a situational cutscene or something like that. Or not cutscene, but just like, like how some of the other games, like, oh, he's doing this while you're doing that or something like that. Either way, it like even just seeing him jump from the plane, I'm like, because at first it looked big, but then I didn't realize how like really big and full the map looked until you start getting closer to the ground. I was like, damn, like this is pretty expansive.
Dude, seeing the weapons was amazing. But the thing I that kind of I think caught a lot of people's eyes because one of the things with Final Fantasy, there's always a version of customization of how you want to kind of accumulate the party, and they had the materia system. But the fact that they're adding a job system, because what they showed was
Yeah,
kind of Tifa as like the black mage and things
yeah.
like that. I'm like, that's really interesting. That kind of gives you a taste of some old school Final Fantasy. Do you think that that's gonna hurt purist version of Final Fantasy VII, or do you think this is just something that adds gravy to the to the dinner table with the third Final Fantasy?
I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to be mad about it. I think I'm personally fine with it. I think
Tell
it's
me
really
more.
cool. Like I think it'll be cool sitting there changing the job system and
I
stuff,
think I think
provided
it's
it
I think it's gonna
does
be badass.
well. But I would hope that like I just hope I don't get stuck wearing a stupid costume I don't care about. Like let me pick a job, but pick whatever costume I want to between the
Sure, yeah, I'm
selection
sure
of
the
jobs.
cosmetics and stuff
Because
will
I hate when games do that. Is like, yeah, oh well, this is the best job to use, but their costume is just like a paper bag or something like that. And then the thief has like the craziest cool costume, but he's the weakest. Like, okay, let me interchange that, and I won't even complain. The rest will be cool.
I'm sure that playing it on easy, if if you're doing that, it won't really matter. I kind of see this more being a synergy thing for if you're playing it on hard, that there's going to be some really interesting
Oh
synergy
yeah,
combos that
dynamic.
you're going to be able to do damage. So I look at
Mm-hmm.
it as a system that's kind of more. I don't want to say for more experienced players, but I think it'll lend itself to more people that are dived into the combat system because the combat system is extremely unique because you can do the action combat and kind of move hit, or you can do the pause, set up a couple runs and do it. So it already has a unique system. Now to add flavor on top of each person that you want to now custom kind of design your team, I think is something that for me, I think it just brings it screams Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I either way, it's super excited. Like it looks good. Like I as even though I'm playing this one, I'm like, man, dude, that new one. I that was kind of my thing. It's like okay, like I had seen like the trailer like drops. I didn't see it live. I'm like, am I gonna be hyped for it? Because I'm playing the other one right now, so it's just more of the same. Like, but I see it, I'm like, no, this is hype.
That is definitely hype. So anything else you want to add on Final Fantasy?
I do want to add one last thing on there because
Sure.
I don't know the guy's name, but you would be stoked because you're more into that stuff. But they replaced Sephiroth's voice actor because he
Oh,
does
you know
say
what?
some
I
lines that
just
sounds
saw
good
that.
with the
Who is
dude who
it?
plays Superman on the I think it's the Lois and Clark show.
That's okay. I just saw some. I was going through some stuff, and I just saw that they replaced it, and I was like, "Oh, I meant to put it in my notes, but I was gonna ask you." But is that who it is? I didn't really check the name or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's seen the thing, and they're like, "Oh, it's the Superman," and it had the picture. I recognize him. That's Lois and Clark, right? The one where he fights Doomsday.
I think so. I'd have to look at the picture again, but I did just see that the voice got swapped. Was there a reason
It's the
why?
guy who usually has like the 5 o'clock shadow all the time.
The 5 o'clock shadow at 12, and you're worried about
And
stream?
he's got the kids, the grown up kids. Yeah, it has to be Lois and Clark. It's that one, the one where they have kids.
Um, yeah, because I don't remember ever watching. I remember if it's the same dude from the Green Arrow show that got his own spinoff. Then yeah.
whatever the newer Superman show is. It's not Smallville, guy, so it's got to
Yeah,
be. This is the
yeah,
only other
I
one.
know,
So
I know Tom Welling, but yeah. So, guys, with that being said, usually we do what are you up to, but we ran a full episode talking about a ton of games. And again, guys, there was over 60 to 80 games and expansions. So sorry if we couldn't hit everything. I think next week maybe Andrew and I will recap some anticipated games, see if Nintendo has something, and we'll go over our what are you up to's and we'll go over everything we're playing. But I think that's everything we got, Andrew. Unless there's anything else you want to add on the what'd you like the best? Summer Game Fest, the State of Play, or the Xbox Showcase?
I think I like the Xbox Showcase the best, but the
Oh, really?
games
Awesome.
that spoke to me the most would be Summer Games Fest. If Summer Games Fest wasn't like 4 hours long across like 10 days and stuff, and was something whatever, like they definitely brought the stuff I'm the most excited for. But the Xbox One, I think, felt like a little tighter for me.
Right
But
on, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like leagues above one. Like if the PlayStation one's an 8, that one's like an 8.5. Like it's right
Yeah,
there.
I think our average was like an 8.5 across the board. So
Yours?
I probably Summer Game Fest, man, because when it is multi-plat like that, I get to see a bunch of everything that I like. So I'm looking at PlayStation games, Xbox games, and Switch games. So for me, it's a little bit of everything. So, guys, with that being said, that is the end of episode 232. Join us next time, guys, on episode 233. And until next time, guys, my name is Craig Prowse. That is Mandrew Montemare. Cheers.
See you guys out there.